Welcome. I have my top 10 NFL teams going into week 5. Number 10, we have the Denver Broncos. They were second in the league in points given up with 49 behind the Buffalo Bills. Ninth in turnover differential. They are fourth in total defense behind the Bills, Browns, and someone else. And they are fifth in rush yards given up. They've only given up 49 points, and they're eighth in sacks. They always sack the passer, which is why I have them at number 10. Number 9, we got the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't freak out, but you can't be top 5 in this league with the second best offense and the 30th best defense. They have a minus turnover differential because their defense just can't get takeaways. They are second in offense. They are fourth in passing, second in points per game. But yeah, you just can't be top 5 with your 30th in defense. You've given up the most yards in the league. So because of that, they are at number 9. Number 8, the Los Angeles Chargers. I have them ahead of the Chiefs because, of course, they beat the Chiefs. 11th in offense, 8th in turnover differential. They have .5 more sacks per game this year than last year. And they don't turn the ball over, but the most important thing, they've held their opponents to their lowest offensive total in points and yards per game. That's why I have them at number 8. Number 7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I wouldn't panic over the Patriots game, but that game was way closer than it should have been, and the Patriots gave them a great game. 7th in offense, they are first in passing as usual because they have Tom Brady, but they are not running the ball very well. 5th in points per game, and they have a positive turnover differential. Again, they won't give the ball away, but they do not get the most takeaways, but their defense comes in clutch when they need to. I think Bruce Arians is doing an amazing job with this team, and I don't know how Byron Leftwich isn't the coach yet. Number 6, the Baltimore Ravens. I would put them higher, but their defense just is not what I expected them to be this year. Still 4th in offense. They're 3rd in rushing, as always. They're going to be very good in an offensive category. Also 3rd in points per game. They don't turn the ball over. They're top 10 in sacks. So they get tackles for loss, and they rely on their offense to win games pretty much. Number 5, this is a huge jump from where I last had them. This is my first recording of top 10, so I don't have week 4, but the Dallas Cowboys, they are 12-0 under Kellen Moore, their offensive coordinator, when they rush for 150 yards per game. 3rd overall in offense with Dak Prescott at Q. They are 2nd in the NFL in takeaways, 3rd in points per game. So as long as Dak Prescott is there, he should win MVP, in my opinion. They will win games, and if they keep running the football the way they are, they will win games because their defense gives them the ball back. 4, I have the Los Angeles Rams. I dropped them from number 1 because of their loss to the Arizona Cardinals. 10th in defense, 6th in sacks, 3rd in passing behind the Bucs and the Cardinals. They have a plus 16 point differential, and they do not turn the ball over. The Bucs game, they came in clutch. Their defense did especially. They have Matt Stafford, which is a huge improvement from the goofball Jared Goff. He's also in the MVP conversation. He's my number 2 runner-up for MVP. So the Rams are at number 4. Now the way I do these rankings is if the team at number 10 and the team at number 9 played today, who would win? And that's how I kind of base it off of. So I think the Rams would beat 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 today. Number 3, do not freak out. I have the Cleveland Browns. They are 2nd in total defense behind the Buffalo Bills. 2nd in sacks per game. The only team in the entire league with 170 plus rushing yards per game. Now, I would put them higher on this list, but the only thing holding them back is Baker Mayfield. He's got 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Not a very hot stat line. This year, number 2, only undefeated team left in the NFL. We've got the Arizona Cardinals. They are 1st in total offense in the NFL, 1st in points per game as well. One of 5 teams with 400 passing yards per game. Also, they are 2nd in the NFL behind the Buffalo Bills. Well, yeah, they're 2nd behind the Buffalo Bills with plus 55 point differential. Again, they're the only undefeated team left. They're fourth in turnover differential. They don't turn the ball over, and they get takeaways. They got Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt, two-headed monster on that defensive line. Number one, we all know who it is, the Buffalo Bills. First in turnover differential with +7. They are tied with the Dallas Cowboys for first in turnover differential. They are first in total defense above the Cleveland Browns. Sixth in sacks per game. They're not usually the best sack team, and they're still sixth in the league with their guys that they have. They are sixth in rushing, which they did not run the football good at all last year, so it's a huge improvement. +90 in point differential. First in the NFL by 35 points. This team is just absolutely dominating right now. Josh Allen, my number 3 in the MVP. He keeps doing what he's doing first round bye for the Buffalo Bills. And these are my rankings. Number 10, we have the Denver Broncos. Number 9, Kansas City Chiefs. Number 8, the Los Angeles Chargers. Number 7, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 6, the Baltimore Ravens. Number 5, the Dallas Cowboys. Number 4, the Los Angeles Rams. Number 3, the Cleveland Browns. Number 2, the Arizona Cardinals. And number 1, the Buffalo Bills. Now, huge test. Main reason I put the let's recap this. Main reason I put the Cardinals at 2. Rams, I've had at number 1, and I'm like, I will keep them at number 1 until a team shows them that they're not number 1. And the Cardinals did that. 34-21 win. Their defense came in clutch at the end with some pass rush, and Kyler Murray is just doing Kyler Murray things. The Bills, dominating win over the Dolphins and every team they've played. I predicted the Steelers to win that first game. I wasn't too surprised. I don't know how the Steelers won. It was not pretty. But they did. The Browns, I had them lower on this list. I had them around 6 or 7. I bumped them up because I really value defense more than a lot. And it doesn't matter how many points your offense scores if your defense can't have your back, you know? So if their defense was, let's say, where the Tennessee Titans are, around middle of the pack, they'd probably be 1-3, 2-2. Because Baker Mayfield, he's starting to look like a replaceable quarterback if you let him go. You can get a quarterback for as good as money as Baker Mayfield. You have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. You have amazing running backs. Just keep pounding the rock, just slowly moving the ball down the field, let your defense rest, and let them go to work for you. And that's why I have them at number 3. Same thing with the Los Angeles Rams. I will probably move them up if they beat the Cardinals the second time they play this year. Dallas, I think Dallas is a top 5 team as long as Dak Prescott is there. Their defense gives up a lot of yards, but they give their offense the ball. Once again, they're tied for first in turnover differential. So if they keep getting turnovers and wreaking havoc on defense, they will be fine. Because as long as they give their offense the ball, they can run it down the field, they can score. They're 12-0 and they rush for 150 yards. So they need to focus on running the ball, and Dak will just do what Dak does. Baltimore Ravens, I'm not sold on that defense. Of course, you got Lamar Jackson, 4th in offense, 3rd in rushing points per game. They don't turn the ball over. That's what the Ravens do. But they have to find some way to generate pass rush on that defense, because you cannot rely on Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters to do everything. You just can't. You can't rely on Patrick Queen and all the linebackers they have. You have to find a way to get some pass rush, whether it's trading for somebody, signing somebody, who knows. Tampa Bay Bucks, I had them number 2. Last ranking I did before I started uploading. And that Patriots game, their defense really came in clutch, but I didn't expect the Patriots to score more than 20 points. Thought the Bucks should have scored more than they did. They made a few more mistakes than they should have. Now, they're going to pass the ball. They're going to do it a lot. Brady was 22 for 43, 289 yards, no touchdowns, no picks against the Patriots, so you can't completely rely on Brady. Their offensive line is spectacular. Tristan Wirfs even got a rookie year vote. That's how good he was last year. But once they get to running the football better, whether it's Ronald Jones or Leonard Fournette, find a way to get them going, running the ball, because you cannot be one-dimensional and win a Super Bowl in this league. When they won the Super Bowl, they ran the ball for over 100 yards. They have to find a way to do that in the season once it gets to the postseason. Now, I was debating whether I put the Broncos in my top 10 or not, but their defense is just amazing. Teddy Bridgewater, I think, is all they needed. They put him at Q. He's first in the league in completion percentage since last year. Led the league with the Panthers. He's doing the same with the Broncos. He's just slowly driving them down the field. 49 points given up in 4 games is quite astounding. They're second in points given up per game. They're ninth in turnover differential. They just don't turn the ball over, but they don't get a lot of takeaways. But it doesn't matter when you're sacking the quarterback and you're not giving up yards and you're not giving up points. You're not letting teams drive down the field on you. Los Angeles Chargers, they have been the game changers. It's been every team that they've played, they've had their worst offensive totals in points, yards, anything you can think of. The worst totals. So their defense keeps showing up. I know it won't show on the stats, but their defense is doing just fine. I think their coach, Brandon Staley, is doing an amazing job. He's an improvement over Anthony Lynn. The way they coach them, they're doing a great job. And Justin Herbert's great. He's just great. No argument about that. Kansas City Chiefs, I think they'll be fine. But I put them at number 9. They were at number 3 last week. Number 9 now. It has nothing to do with their offense, but once again, you cannot win with a number 30 defense in the league. You just can't. It doesn't matter how good your offense is. It'll always be defense wins championships. People are like, well, you can't win if your offense doesn't score points, but you can't win if your defense can't stop the other team either. So once they get their defense settled, I don't think it was a good move moving Chris Jones to end. Because, yes, you want pass rush, but that's not what Chris Jones does. He's going to naturally get pass rush. You can't force him to get pass rush by moving him to the end, and they've given up over 50 more rushing yards per game this year than last year since moving Chris Jones from defensive tackle to defensive end. But they are going to pass the ball. They're going to score points. Their -3 turnover differential has nothing to do with Mahomes or their offense. Their defense just doesn't get any takeaways. And once they play the teams in their division, I'm gonna keep an eye on how they do. I think the Broncos and I think every team in their division will beat them at least once this year. Already 2-2, so they've got to figure it out. Anyway, that is my NFL top 10 rankings for going into Week 5. Tonight should be an amazing game. It's the Seahawks playing either the Rams or somebody. So that game's going to be interesting. By the way, the Seahawks are first in the league in turnovers. They've only given up the ball 1 time. Because Russell Wilson's great. He's just great. And their defense, they're only +4 or 5 in turnover differential because their defense is just their defense. Just Seattle's defense. But anyway, I'll end it for today. Good seeing you guys. That is my top 10 rankings. If you have any opinions on what your rankings are, what I should change, or what your opinion is compared to mine, I would love for you to leave it in the comments, and I would love to interact with you guys in there. Until next time, have a good day.